How you doing, Cam?
Good. How are you?
Just first, with obviously with the big play that ended last week's game, just kind of what did you see on that play? How did you kind of read it? Just what was your perspective on that?
Well, it was a bunch, so I knew they were running something. They were running the ball. It was either a sucker or a toss. The toss came. I saw a puller, and I didn't want to overrun it, so I just stayed in my lane, and I met him at the hole, put my shoulder down, and the ball came out. So.
Jimmy has alluded to the fact that you both of your hands are kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Does that affect your tackling form or your thought process at all?
A little bit, but it's a mindset. So I just got to get the man down and get him down anyway. And if he's down, then it's victory for us. It's good for me. So.
Is that the best hit you've ever had?
No, it's not. It's I would say top 3. I mean, the ball did come out, so it was exciting. We won the game, but it wasn't the best hit. Yeah.
Well, then what was the best hit, would you say?
I mean, back in high school, I haven't really had like a huge hit in college yet that I really would like dream of, but I would say back in high school. So, yeah.
When you got the hit that ended this game, did you know the ball was out, or how did you kind of find that out?
No, I didn't know. Once I hit the ball, I looked up and then I seen Ryan Bowman come out with the ball, holding it. I was like, okay, let's go. So, yeah.
You know, when you make a play like that in overtime to end the game, you got the full student section behind you. I mean, what's just the feeling? What's the adrenaline like after a play like that?
Just go crazy. Like that's all I was thinking. Just happiness, excitement, going crazy, yelling as loud as I could. So, yeah.
I'm wondering for you too, I mean, coming in as a true freshman, playing right away, starting right away, you know, there was ups and downs of that season as a true freshman. What was the learning curve like, just trying to figure everything out on the college level?
I mean, it was fast, I would say, just a little quick, but I just went up to coaches, asked questions, and just went on from there. Asked questions, watched film, and the more I watched film, the more comfortable I got, and that's it.
How has it been? You come in and start right away. Your first game as a true freshman, which is really hard to do at this level. Very few people do that. But then since then, it's been kind of like a tennis match for you. You're a starter here. You're coming in as a reserve here. You're back to a starter. How's it been to handle all that?
Well, my first game I played, it was a little nerve-wracking. After that, like everybody, once you get your first hit, you start playing a little more with confidence. But after the season, I wasn't playing like me. I wasn't myself. I couldn't really get comfortable. I couldn't get that rhythm going. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do for the team, play your role, and just come out victorious each week.
Was that your freshman season you were talking about? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you feel, I mean, now 2 years later, do you feel like you're playing like yourself? How would you evaluate kind of how you've grown, I guess, in your time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I still have a lot to learn. I still have a lot to do with me, my body, my mindset, mentally, and, yeah, not too much.
How is it for you with your number? You share it with Richard Newton, who's a real prominent player, so it's kind of hard to just be the number 6. Plus, it's one of the most famous numbers in the history of the school with Sonny Six Killer. How is it for you wearing this digit?
It's been my favorite number since I was a little kid, so I just like wearing number 6. I really don't think of it like that. To me, it's a number. I play football. Rich wears it. He does great. So I guess we represent it well. So, yeah.
Sonny?
I haven't.
With just dealing with the hand injuries and maybe some other stuff too, I mean, were you playing with a lot of pain against Cal, or is the adrenaline kind of blocked that out, or what was that feeling like?
Yeah, it was painful for sure, but I just told myself, just finish this game and then go in the locker room and do what you have to do to get it better. But I told myself I had to finish the game. I'm finishing the game no matter what. So.
Did those injuries happen during the game?
Yes, my right hand, yes. Second quarter.
I think maybe it's a rare breed that can shake that off and just try to finish that out. Has that been the pain tolerance? Have you had injuries like that before that you played through, or is that a unique thing?
Yeah, high school, my collarbone, my AC joint, and my pinky in high school, so it's regular.
Did you always play through those injuries, or
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
It seemed like you were doing really well, and I can't remember because they're all mixed together, the spring and the fall camp, but it looked like you were running first team and everything was going good for you, and then all of a sudden, I think you got an injury. I think it was spring, but it looked like it was just really untimely for you because you really had a lot of momentum going, and you had to really fight to get back into the starting lineup again. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I hurt my ankle, but I wasn't getting mental reps. I wasn't getting the reps that I needed to show the coaches that I was supposed to be out there. So I really couldn't do anything, couldn't control what I can control. So just go out there. I just went out there, did my job, and then showed them that I could apparently be the starter. So, yeah.
You mentioned that play, the game-winning play, wasn't the biggest hit you've had, but where does it rank in terms of just most memorable plays to make a play like that ends the game on the college level? Where does that rank for you?
I'll say 2. Top 2. In high school. Yeah. It wasn't, I'm sorry.
We get Faatui up here because it's first day of class.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thanks, Cam.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. Yeah. First day of class is always a bit of a new one. Get Faatui up here and roll.
Hey, Faatui. Just firstly, having a sack in back-to-back games, do you feel like a light has come on for you, or what do you think has allowed you to have the success you've had?
Just trying to get better each day in practice. It's a credit to all my teammates and the scout team each day, each practice for helping me to get better. Even my coaches as well for just teaching me all these techniques and skills and situational football. So the credit goes to them more than so to me, for sure.
The first one, obviously your first college sack and something you've been waiting for a couple of years now. What's that feeling like when you, obviously it's a strip sack, it's return for a touchdown,
Right.
It's a huge play. Just what's the feeling like when you finally get something like that?
It was kind of unreal. I didn't think he even held on to the ball. So I just ran to the ball and put my head down and just tried to hit the quarterback, tried to force a bad throw, but he held on to the ball, and I guess I hit the ball, and Braylon picked it up and took it to the house. But it was a very surreal feeling for sure, something I've been waiting for 3 years.
Did you tell Braylon that he owes you? You set him up?
No, I was just happy for him. I was just happy that I made a strip sack, and I was happy for Braylon too that he got to pick it up and run it to the end zone.
With that kind of play after the game, I know how much family support you have back on the island and everything. What was your phone like? What was the support like?
Oh, they're just, it's always nice to just hear from my family after games, just phone calls and text messages telling me good game and telling me they were watching the game. So it's nice to know that I'm being supported and loved for, even from afar, on national television as well. It's just a great feeling knowing that my family can watch me on such a big stage.
You guys on the defensive line are some of the most highest recruited guys on this roster, and you've been trading in and out the starters. There's 4 or 5 of you that have started in the last 2 years. Is it time for somebody to step up and be like the next Vita Vea, if that's possible, or Greg Gaines, or who else, Danny Shelton?
I think we're just trying to become the first ourselves. I know Vita and Danny and Greg, they've set the bar for us for sure. They've showed what D-Lo is all about. But I think we're just trying to make a name for ourselves and just trying to be our own person and try to make we're trying to make a good impression on those guys as well, for sure. But all it comes down to is just us playing our own game and our own style of football, for sure.
What's the challenge like this week where you're going against an Oregon State team that runs the ball very well, has another dual threat quarterback? What's that challenge like?
We've just been working a lot of run defense this week, just trying to work on our run fits, work on our schemes against the run. And for us as D-linemen, we're just trying to work on all our progressions through the run, blocking and everything. So, yeah, we're really honing in on our run techniques this week. So we're prepared for Oregon State's running offense.
Did you go to Corvallis 2 years ago?
I did travel to that game. No, I did not.
What did you think of the experience of Research Stadium and all?
That chainsaw is the first thing I always remember about that stadium. Just hearing that chainsaw go off, and the environment and the fan base over there is great too. So that's exactly what I remember as a chainsaw when I was a freshman, watching like guys like Levi and Benning Potawaya then play for sure.
With your D-line, through 4 games, you guys have had some good moments, some not so good moments. How much growth do you feel like this group still has in it as you guys continue to go on here?
We definitely learned from our first 2 games. Those first 2 games definitely wasn't what we wanted, and definitely not how we wanted to play. But I think we really bounced back very well. The next 2 games, held Arkansas State to under 50 yards rushing, and held the 2 good running backs to under 100 yards for Cal. So I think we're making the right steps into the right direction, but I know we still can get better for sure.
And Jimmy Lake said that you've been really playing well lately, and you've been in the starting lineup where you weren't. And what was the difference for you? Physical, mental, you took made a step?
Definitely in the weight room was where I focused all my off-season to, because I wanted to change my body to be able to last in games, like conditioning, but also taking the beatings of a 12-game season. Just getting stronger, as there's a lot of things that I got to work on in my body that has been affected from high school. So just getting stronger in the weight room has helped me a lot, and then just watching film with my coaches and with my teammates as well, just going over different progressions of the opposite offense and what their O-line likes to do. So it was definitely a mental and physical step forward.
Did you get lighter or heavier?
I kind of just stayed the same, but just leaned. I kind of just put on more lean muscle, and kind of just trying to cut down on all the fat for sure.
We talked with Cam, and you were in the room, about playing through pain, and obviously you played through the pack all through your senior year of high school. Is that a factor at all? Do you feel it? I mean, is there any lingering thing with that?
No, not anymore. The strength and conditioning staff that we have here is awesome. Coach Saha and the staff, they've helped me so much to just build muscle around the different areas of my shoulder, my back, tricep, bicep, all the other areas that help support strength in my pec. So all the credit goes to them for helping me to get stronger and for giving me confidence in playing with the pec for sure.
All right, what about do we go? Because he does have to go to class.
All right, thank you.
School. Have fun. These picture for Pinterest, right? Coach Brown's here, ready to go. Thank you very much. Much good. School for Terrance.
All right. How's it going?
Cam Williams how to make that game-changing hit?
I wish I could say that was all me, but I think, that starts with the young man himself. He's bought into the coaching that's been done here for years, and I think he was just prepared for that moment, taking those reps week in, day out, and when the moment arrives, trusted the technique, trusted the coaching, did what he did.
You weren't here, obviously, when he was a true freshman, but in the time you've been here, how have you seen his game change and grow over the last 2 years? Yeah,
I mean, Cam is definitely taking steps in the right direction in terms of growing, becoming more of a veteran in the back end, just in terms of his intellect, his knowledge, his understanding of the game. He's always either in my office or he's in Coach Harris' office, asking questions, watching film, trying to get a step ahead of his opponents, and really trying to grow as a player himself. And I think just as a player, he's just been focusing on polishing his craft, the little things, the details, and that's what has allowed for him to make plays in situations like that arose this past weekend.
Chase Garbers was able to kind of use his legs last weekend against you guys, and Chance Nolan for OSU kind of can do the same. What are you guys planning to do to try to stop that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't answer that question in full details, but Chase, one heck of a player. one heck of a player. Cal definitely has a really good quarterback on their hands, and we were, up for the task. We knew what was coming ahead, and that'll be the same thing moving forward this weekend. We know we got to be very disciplined, and just at the end of the day, I'll go back to just trusting the coaching. You do it throughout the week. So you prepare yourself throughout the week. When the time comes on Saturday, we'll be ready to go out there and execute.
Jimmy has mentioned, and Cam mentioned, I mean, he was playing in that Cal game with 2 injured hands and making those kind of plays. How difficult is it to play safety with 2 injured hands?
Honestly, I think I've seen it done more often than people would believe. And he really showcased himself of just being able to, be mentally tough. And at the end of the day, just go out there and play ball. And I think that's what we take pride in the recruiting process, is finding those guys that are mentally tough. And he's one of those guys that are mentally tough that just allow for himself to just go play the game how he knows how to play it.
After a lot of shuffling in that secondary, seems like it's kind of settled finally. I mean, it's been competitive since April.
Right.
Is it maybe the experience, the veteran players, those are the ones that are now in there after getting beat out at first to start the season? Is their experience kind of brought them to the top?
Well, you know what? I think, as I've said before, and I'm sure Coach Lake has said and Coach Harris has said it himself, I think the game of football is a tough game. It's a physical game. So we want to make sure that all of our guys are prepared when season comes around to be able to step in when their name's called. And the guys, obviously, that have had playing experience, I think that does play a favor on their part in terms of just understanding what it's like to be out there under the lights, understanding what it's like to be out there in the game day atmosphere in Husky Stadium, wherever it may be. But all of our guys, we take pride in knowing that when their name is called, they're going to be ready to step up and be ready to rise to the occasion. You've seen that guys have stepped in and made some plays for us in the back end. And it'll continue to be that way as season continues to move forward. Everybody needs to be ready when their name is called, and they will be.
Speaking of one of those guys that stepped up, Nish Powell was obviously called on. How did he grade against Cal, and where do you think his biggest steps are going to come when he plays against Oregon State?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mish played really well, and I think Coach Lake alluded to it already. As I just said, everybody's going to prepare as a starter, and that's what Mish has done. He's been extremely diligent in terms of coming up, bugging me, bugging Coach Harris, bugging Coach Lake, bugging Coach Locke, other guys on the staff to watch tape, so that way he can see some trending upward in his game. And so when his name was called, we played against Cal this past weekend, he was ready. He was ready. He'd already taken the reps mentally, taken the reps physically, and he was confident in himself and confident in the game plan. And that's what allowed for him to go out there and play fast. And I foresee him being able to do that for us in the future. I mean, everybody's going to be able to, like I just said, they're going to be ready to play. They're going to prepare throughout the week as if their name is going to be called on Saturday.
Would you agree that's pretty amazing? He's a walk-on, and he's starting, and there's a lot of scholarship guys behind him on the depth chart.
Well, that's the beauty of our room, right? I mean, that's the big thing about it, just the depth in general. Everybody's going to compete in that room. I don't think whether you're a starter, whether you're a walk-on. I mean, it's been done here in the past before. Guys like Miles Bryant, guys like Brian Clay, other guys that, that have played in the back end that were walk-ons that have rose to the occasion. So we really relish on all of our guys, having a mindset that they are the one.
With the game that Kyler had last weekend, I mean, you've been around the game for a long time. Is that one of the better games you've seen a corner have?
Yeah, Kyler had a really good game. He had a really good game. And I think, I said it already with Cam, but I think it just comes down to trusting the coaching, man. At the end of the day, I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse or beating the record right there, but it comes down to trusting the coaching. That's what he did. He paid attention to the notes that were on the board when he came in the meeting room. He paid attention to the notes that he had on his paper. He's very, very detailed about his work that he got throughout the week, and that's what allowed for him make those plays. Coach Harris and I always tell the guys in the back end, you respect the game's going to respect you. And that's just an old saying, but he did what he had to do. He's done what he has had to do throughout the week. And when it came time, that ball was in his area, he made a play on it. When he needed to show up and run support, he made a play. And he made some big plays in that game. We were definitely proud of the performance that he put on, and he's only got room to grow. Still got more room to grow, only scratching the surface.
How's Trent responded to being banged up the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think, mentally, he's a tough kid. So, I know Coach Lake handles most of those situations, but he's a tough kid, and I know he's ready to just step in and do what he's known to do, which is play football.
With Buki, we've seen the impact that he's made on the field, but we've talked to him a couple times now. He seems to have a real charisma about him, and I'm wondering what his personality has brought to your room in terms of leadership experience, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think the guys in the room, they really do look up to him. You can see just anybody coming up to him, asking him questions, trying to pick his brain. Because, let's be honest, he's played a lot of ball. And I think the guys understand that experience, especially, at this level, it pays dividends for them in terms of understanding where they want to take their game. And so his presence has been tremendous for our guys in our room and really this team. I think everybody respects him, everybody trusts him, and they just appreciate the person that he is. He's the same person every day. Nothing changes about him, which is awesome.
Anything else for Coach Brown?
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.